and he's going to house it.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Angle of Pursuit podcast, your fantasy football, sports betting, and NASCAR home. As you can hear, I still sound pretty terrible, but we are here to get you set for the Echopark Grand Prix. We going on the road course, and here to break it down with me, both DFS and betting, is Brian Twining. What's up, Brian?
What's going on, Kyle? Yeah, you said prior to you may sound like crap, but you're feeling a lot better, which is all we care about. And like you said, we get another first in this NASCAR season. We get to see these new next-gen vehicles on their first road course. And qualifying was fairly interesting, to say the least, with both of the favorites failing to get inside that top 10. So we're in for a pretty interesting race.
Yeah, I think we're in for a fun race. Hopefully our picks are more like how I feel and less like how I sound, but we can see what we can cobble together. So yeah, as you mentioned, qualifying is in the books. That is why we're here. Let's jump in. Let's look at some DraftKings stuff and get some thoughts on the table. Because like you mentioned, there's a lot of opportunities here. Elliott 12th, Kyle Larson 13th, Truex starting 17th. Like there's some serious potential, some serious room for some of these drivers. And I know it's a road course, but I think these guys can make up some serious room. So if we start at the top, obviously Ryan Blaney qualifying on the pole, he looked incredible yet again. His car is super fast. Both of us are holding some nice tickets for him.
He's simply been the best driver in the Cup Series this year. Do not look at results. Look at what he's doing. Like,
unfortunately, Denny Hamlin will tell you that being the best driver all year without the results doesn't do a whole hell of a lot for you. But yes, he's been incredible. And if his pit crew can get their shit together, then he might have a win or two at this point.
Hopefully, yes.
That being said, let's start in the 10K range. We got 4 drivers. We got Chase Elliott starting 12th. We have Kyle Larson starting 13th. We have Kyle Busch starting 15th. Is it simple as one or both of Elliott and Larson should be in your DK lineups? I know it's going to be, they'll probably be pretty chalky. But I think you'll also be able to get different later and find ways to do that. But what's your thoughts on kind of that range?
Well, it's pretty interesting to me because you see the Hendrick drivers. Alex Bowman of them was the one that qualified best, and he ran in the Truck Series event today. Was running inside the top 3, so he's going to have that one extra race, I guess you can say, for kind of knowing what the track is like when it's not wet like it was last season. And neither of the other 3 guys showed a lot of speed in practice or qualifying.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd prefer to go Kyle Busch this instance, just to save a few $100. But I mean, Elliott and Larson were so good at road courses; they'll probably get their shit together.
Yeah, Elliott didn't look great in qualifying. He looked kind of slow. He was trying to follow Larson, I believe, around the track, and seemed very just couldn't get the lines down. I think Elliott or Larson would be my favorite of those two, but Busch is an interesting way to go. Had some nice runs at points, but just couldn't pull it all together. And in terms of ownership, should be the lowest of the 3. So if you want to be a little bit different in GPPs, that could be an interesting way to go. Excuse me. Let's head down. Let's talk about the 9Ks. We have Denny Hamlin starting 8th. Party Marty, a guy who does really well on these kind of tracks, starting 17th. My boy Austin Cindric. He looked really good. I was kind of surprised to see him start 10th. I thought he was going to be higher than that, 9,500. William Byron, 9,300 seems like a nice value. But as you mentioned with the Hendrick drivers, they've all looked not that great. Logano, 6th. Christopher Bell, our guy, starting 7th at 9K. Where's your head going for these kind of this range?
It's kind of gross to say, but Joey Logano at 9,100 is somebody who has quietly been one of the better road course racers over the last couple of years, and he's pretty consistently running inside the top 5. So getting him at such a discount compared to the top of the board or the favorites in Elliott, Busch, and Kyle Larson, I think for me would be a good play, and even somebody that you could start your lineup with for potential to see him jump to the front early on.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, we could just avoid the 10K range completely, load
Yeah.
up on a couple 9K guys and go from there. That would be a good way to be different. I think there's a lot of value. I think your guy, William Byron, I know he didn't qualify great, but I still expect him to run pretty well tomorrow. Could be a nice value. Like I said, I like Cindric. I think he has a
Yes.
chance to win the race. And then Truex, even though he's starting 17th, could be a nice value. So grabbing a couple of those guys would be interesting. If you had to rank Logano, Byron, Cindric, and Truex, what's your 1 through 4?
And we're talking DK, right?
For DraftKings only, yeah.
I'd probably go Logano 1, just knowing that he could jump to the front of the field. Byron 2, with how far back he's starting. Truex, and then Cindric. Although I do think Cindric is capable of winning this race. I just think the movement or the placement points that you'd be able to secure with a Byron or even a Truex, who in all likelihood towards the back half of the race will be inside the top 7 or 8. Like, I think that makes up the difference between them and Cindric.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to you. I think I go Byron. I think I go Truex. I think I go Logano and then Cindric. Like I mentioned, I like Cindric. I think he can be an interesting option this week. But of that kind of range, he would be fourth for me. We'll drop down into 8. AJ Allmendinger looked pretty terrible. For a guy who's kind of like this is his thing. Like if we're known for something and you were just like whatever amongst your peers, that would be a little concerning. So him starting 20th, like there's potential obviously, and for a guy who traditionally does really well, but he also doesn't have as much experience in these new cars as a lot of the other guys. So it'll be interesting for him to kind of figure it out on the fly.
I will say, so like it's interesting to see, because we've seen this a couple times already this year, where some drivers utilize practice to see how fast they can get the vehicle, and then they kind of dog it during qualifying, or vice versa. Practice is just them kind of getting a feel, and then they really go all out in qualifying. Like Allmendinger had the 8th fastest time in practice, and then obviously didn't qualify well. And he's also running the Xfinity race today, and like I said, it's going to be a dry track like tomorrow.
Yeah.
So for somebody starting 20th, who was he came into the week inside the top 10 in terms of favorites to win the race, he's probably somebody who maybe people will be down on seeing what he did in qualifying. So he could be kind of that like surprise contrarian play for DK purposes.
100%. And, obviously he has the track record. So, if he performs really well tomorrow, I don't think anybody will be shocked, but, it was kind of a little bit of an underwhelming performance. There's some other names. Kevin Harvick could be really interesting at 8K. I think he could have a lower ownership and a higher upside than people think. Not necessarily thinking he's going to win, but could perform well. And, I like Ross Chastain. He looked really well. Didn't quite make it to the the last 10 to qualify for the pole, but was right on the cusp, looked really fast, looked really comfortable in his car. Starting 16th, he could move up, get another top 5 finish, and you'll be loving life.
Yeah, and Chastain fits in that Allmendinger category this week. He performed really well in practice, and then just qualifying. All it takes literally at courses like this is one spin of the tires, one like drift out of a turn, or one miss of the line, and you're that 0.2 of a second puts you back multiple placements. So, Chastain at 8,200 starting 16th is another guy who I think can crack the top 10.
Yep. We'll go down to the 7Ks. We can even dip down to, Wallace and Almirola and McDowell. Any names in this range that are really appealing to you at prices? Your boy Brad Keselowski.
Definitely not Brad Keselowski. I can already tell you that.
It was good to see Suarez perform well. Obviously, he's not going to be someone we're going to go to starting second at 7,100, but the guy below him, Austin Dillon, starting 21st at 7K, could make some sense. Our boy Stenhouse has the Sunny D car, so that's an automatic way to find our way into our lineup. But what's your thoughts as we go down into the 7K and below?
I mean, like you said, Kurt Busch, I wish he was starting a little bit further back, but I
Yeah.
love him this week to sneak into that top 10, and he showed it both practice and qualifying. And then for me, like in this range, I actually like Chris Buescher,
Yep.
who ran pretty well at road courses last year. I think he did pretty good at COTA, starting 22nd. I think there's a good shot that he moves inside or close to that top 10 mark, and that 7,300, that's a ton of salary savings.
Yeah, no, I think those names all make a lot of sense. Looking for some even cheaper options. We can go down into the 6K.
I mean, Cole
Cole
Custer at
Custer.
6,000 starting third. Are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
he
And
looked.
he qualified second, I think, in the Xfinity race too, or
Yeah,
third in the Xfinity race. So again, going back to the guy who gets the experience the day
yeah,
before, or like it paid off the first time for him too.
yeah. Todd Gilliland is another guy that always kind of is intriguing to me, just because price tag, where he's starting, and what he could do. I don't think it's crazy. And Boris said, he is 4,700. He is an old dude, but apparently like a legend on these kind of tracks. Um, starting 37th, if he gets you like a top, I don't know, 30, keeps the
I
car
was
on the
just gonna
track.
say we would need him to crack the top 30.
I think it could make some sense. Like, depending on how you want to get, if you want to get real funky with it, or you want to get some top heavy guys, like throwing him in, like isn't going to win or lose you the DK. But I think you could do some stuff with him in your lineup. So I don't hate going there if you really need to save some money.
Yeah, I mean, if he could stay on the lead lap
Yeah.
somehow, the entirety of the race, you're
Yeah.
probably cracking that top 30. And at $4,700, like that is huge salary savings.
100%. Okay, let's build a lineup, and I'm gonna take the T this week, and I'm gonna start in the 9K range, and I'm gonna take your guy William Byron.
I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so since we got our guy that's moving from the back to the front here, I'm going to go with what I said. I'm gonna parlay him with Joey Logano, 9,100 starting sixth. I think Logano's near the top.
This is either gonna go awesome or terrible. You're taking my guy. I'm taking your guy.
Yeah.
We've been doing this too long. We're gonna start causing issues. I'm gonna go Truex. I trust him on road courses. I think he can get a top 5, and if he's starting 17th, I think he could be interesting. And obviously, we're loading up on the 9K range, but this was something that we talked about doing, avoiding that 10K range, and then diving down and saving salary. So that is where my head is going. Who's gonna make the next? Who's gonna take the next spot in our lineup?
You're gonna have to go back up. We can't. We have to ride the gnarly tsunami that's going on right now with Ross Chastain starting 16th. Okay. He qualified second in the Xfinity race that's going on today. At less than 8,500, he's got to be in there.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think there's opportunity for sure. I think I'm always willing to go there, and there's cheap guys down the board that we can fit in our lineups that will make this work a lot easier. Man, where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go? Let's see here. Who is gonna make the lineup?
We could go with what you said, and we could go tandem with both of these last two picks and put in said.
Let's see. Let's see if we put in said. We still have 9K, and that gives us some flexibility. And then so let's look at our options. But obviously, we don't need to spend all of it. We can look at Allmendinger, 8,800. That could make some sense. We could look at Kevin Harvick, 8K. Could make some sense. I like Buescher. You like Buescher at 7,300. That could make some sense.
I don't know if we can get to the top and win. Like where I think, especially for like value, I want to see who has the best shot to possibly even crack the top 5 per se, which is kind of why Allmendinger, somebody who has performed really well at road courses, won the first race for this colleague racing team last year. I mean, you could sneak him in there starting where he is. I think
Yeah.
that might be
So
worth
I'm
it.
looking at I'm looking at the model that I use to do some of my lineups. And in terms of ceiling projection, he has the 7th best behind Chastain, Kyle Busch, Truex, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and William Byron. So I'm 100% on board with that.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like people are going to look at that qualifying and maybe get a little bit scared off, especially right now. Now, if he goes out in the Xfinity race and wins it, then
Yeah.
obviously that's going to be shot to shit because
Right.
people are going to realize like, oh, maybe he was sandbagging the whole NASCAR thing.
And as we talk about each and every week, we're trying to win the GPP. We're not trying to get, hit 50% of cash. So we were looking really good last week until like half of our lineup ended up crashing out. But I like this lineup. I think it's interesting. And we'll see. We'll come back next week and see how we did. Let's shift over. Let's look at the Echopark odds and see where the movement's happening and see if we can get some more lines. Okay, well, I got DraftKings and FanDuel open, so we'll check them out after we kind of run through this. But Elliott 3-1, 4-1, depending where you look. Kyle Larson right behind him. Then there's a big drop off. Ryan Blaney 8-10, something like that. Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, Austin Cindric. There's
That's
actually
crazy.
better numbers than I think what I got when we talked before. But where's your head going and kind of thoughts on the top of the board here?
Well, like I'm really happy I got in on Reddick before practicing qualifying because his number has dropped pretty significantly as we were able to secure that at 40-1 from I think it was Caesars at the time. And I still think at 18-1, Reddick is somebody that I could find myself getting to in this market.
Yeah.
I like Larson and Elliott a lot more at close to 5-1. I think that makes a ton of sense. It'll be difficult to move through the field, though. I mean, we don't know how these cars are going to perform when everybody's on track because they're a little wider. They seem a little bit more heavy, I guess, in the corners. So it'll be difficult for them to move up about the field. And then like Denny Hamlin at 18-1 at I think it was at Bet365.
Yep.
Hamlin's a threat to win pretty much any race. He's always inside that top 5 for road courses, so he's a guy that still has a good number too.
Yeah. I think Kyle Busch or Kyle Larson are the two that I'm compelled to try and squeeze in. I'll throw up our little odds, our bet tracker as of now. So as you can see, I have Cindric and Chastain outright 16 and 40. I also have Larson over Elliott minus 105. Keselowski over Austin Dillon. Brian and I are going head to head. He has Austin Dillon. That's not looking great for me. I have Tyler Reddick top 10. Christopher Bell top 10 and Ross Chastain top 5. Feeling really good about that. That was my best bet from our show on Wednesday. Brian has Reddick at 40. He has Briscoe at 22. He has Christopher Bell at 20 and Chastain at 40. He also has Reddick for a top 10 at minus 120. Chastain for a top 10 at minus 135. Blaney top 5 2-1. That's looking awesome.
Yes.
The show bet, as well as Kurt Busch and Cole Custer.
And I just added those two this morning.
So yep. So the ever changing betting board is always having us consider bets and figure out where we want to go. Let's keep going. Joey Logano sitting here at a really nice number, Brian. We were talking about him from DraftKings, but from the outright market, that's a pretty nice 20-1 right there.
Yeah, like I guess I'll add him to the card just because I do think there is a legit shot, especially starting near the front of the field.
Yep.
If you could avoid contact and stay clean throughout the day, there's a good shot that he's finding himself in winner's circle come the end of the race. Although I'm still going to bet, if I could find it, Ryan Blaney over Joey Logano.
Yeah, I'm guess you might get some decent juice, but we'll see. Chastain is 30 at the best, more like 18 to 25. So we got, getting him at 40 when we did was awesome.
Yep.
And then we just dive down into.
I got a question. Do you have any interest at Daniel Suarez at 25-1, knowing that I think coming into the week he was probably like 50 or 60-1, I believe?
No, I can't do that. if I had gotten it, I would feel great about it. But I can't bet Daniel Suarez anything less than 40.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, he's been fast all
He's been really fast, and he's been
so
really
far this
good this
weekend, but
year, and has had some nice runs at road courses. But I can't do it. I can't do it.
it is
So
interesting too because at road courses, a lot of times the field is very narrowed in terms of
yeah,
who actually has a legit shot to win.
100%.
But I mean, with the new car, that's kind of thrown a wrench in a lot of things, and we'll see how come Sunday what exactly the effect on like Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr. is because they didn't look good, but
Yep.
maybe they're just kind of testing it out right now. We don't really know.
And I think our odds based are on, we got people that qualified well, so we have to up their odds, but we still have people that are awesome at road courses, so we have to keep their odds. So we have a
Exactly.
bigger pool. I don't know if I like that though, because there's a lot, like, you're getting a little bit better numbers, but like a lot of guys are just kind of shorter, and that's
Yeah,
less
I
than
feel like
ideal.
it's narrowed the betting market
Yeah.
because other people have performed unexpectedly well, so it's shortened their odds
Yeah.
when
There's like
you
too
wouldn't
many people
normally even
inside
get to
20.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're not normally gonna be betting any of these people outside of Elliott, Larson, and maybe Truex at the top of the board at road courses, and
Yeah.
now you have a ton of people inside that 20-1 number, which is more indicative of, like, a regular kind of race, not a road
Yeah.
course, which is a very specialized type of track.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, as we flip over to DraftKings, look at finishing position, looking for some opportunities. Kyle Busch, even money to top 5, 3-1 to top 3. That 14-1 number is calling my name, Brian.
That's a good number. He did good in the
Toronto
truck race until
18.
being crashed.
Yeah, obviously the trucks drive a lot different, but
Yeah, they
um,
looked very slow
yeah,
and heavy in the corners for sure.
Allmendinger. Allmendinger plus 275 to top 5. That's the number I could get behind.
That's a great number for a guy who he's literally the ringer at
All right.
these freaking
I'm
courses.
adding Dinger the Ringer to my card plus 275 to top 5. I think that's a number that makes a lot of sense. William Byron at 3-1 to top 5 is kind of interesting too.
I know he's been great, but it's just so hard. Like he's never really been that road guy that
Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'll look at what FanDuel has, because sometimes their top 5 markets. Oh, they don't have a top 5 market. That's right.
they got the top 3 and
Yeah.
then top 10. So they're definitely squeezing you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Chastain 3-1. So you can still get 3-1 top 5. That's my best bet from Wednesday. I still like it. I still feel good about it. 5.5 to 1 to top 3 is not terrible. Are you interested in Cole Custer at all? Plus 380, plus 6-1. Obviously 30-1 would be nice, but I don't know if I see him winning the race.
Yeah, no, Custer for me, like that's the reason why I added him into the top 10 market. That's just too good of a number, getting
Yeah.
over even money to top 10 for a guy that's performed so well in both series already this weekend.
Let's see what DraftKings has for us. FanDuel. Sometimes they have better numbers. Cole Custer plus 125. Is
Yeah,
that better than what DraftKings has?
yeah, DraftKings is plus 110.
All right, yeah, plus 125. Cole Custer top 10. Add that to the card. I think it makes sense.
This is a good week too to try to sneak in a few unexpected people inside that top 10 because there's some pretty good plus money odds like Austin Dillon 3-1, Harrison Burton 4-1. Our boy Sunny Delight Ricky Stenhouse 4-1. I know he's not good at these tracks, but 4-1 to the top 10 is a great number.
Boris 12-1 to top 10.
That's just a great name too.
Yeah, Boris said I'm gonna top 10, and he did. Yeah, no, I think there's some opportunity for sure. I was trying to keep my card nice and tidy,
It
And
doesn't.
every time,
No,
and then we have these conversations, and then it just gets crazy.
yeah, I have to be very. I have to try to be a little more frugal because I'll just start like adding way
Spray,
too many.
spray the board Saturday. Spray the board Saturday. Oh, this is interesting.
I was just gonna say this is an interesting market that I've
I
noticed
like
that
that they
DraftKings
did
has
this. This
added.
is more fun. Dinger the Ringer, 4.5 positions at plus 120. I don't hate that.
The expectation is this is based on Elliott still being the favorite for the race. This like
Chase
almost has
Elliott looks
nothing to do
slow.
with.
I'm doing this. I don't care. Allmendinger plus 4.5. I might look like an idiot after doing this, but Allmendinger plus 4.5 versus Elliott at plus $1.20. Like, give that to me all day.
Well,
Chase Elliott's incredible. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, he didn't look great in qualifying. There's a chance that he doesn't finish the race, or that they're both like 12th and 13th or something, and I'm
yeah.
cashing this. So
And
I will
I'm
add that
I'm
to the
I'm
card.
riding the train with you because that
Oh,
was the
God.
first one that I noticed that really piqued my interest. This, but anytime like in a driver matchup, it's
Yeah.
so hard to pay juice
Yeah.
on these, even if there's a spread. But
Mhm.
getting 4.5 spots for a guy who is literally called upon to race in road courses because he's so good at them,
Yep.
that's not.
Larson in 6.5 spots versus Byron. That's interesting.
I'd prefer that to be even, and then I'd probably go with Byron.
Yeah. We have some groups. Let's see what prop we can get over here if we have any good matchups. I don't really like group betting, but sometimes there's opportunities. Truex versus Bush, Elliott versus Larson, Byron versus Blaney.
The only one that's interesting to me is got to be Logano over Hamlin because it's so short.
I'm doing this one too. Allmendinger. I'm all in on Allmendinger. This is so stupid. Dinger over Briscoe. And minus $1.12. Okay. It's AJ Allmendinger week, apparently. Should I add a top 10 or a top 5?
You might as well, man. Just go for it.
I mean, Jesus. What's top 3 market looking like?
Top 5 on DK is plus 275.
Yeah, that's already on the card. So I'm just plus 470 to top 3, or
okay, so on DraftKings, there's a pretty big disparity in its top
6 to
10
1
numbers.
to top 3.
Well, let me just say, so FanDuel has Allmendinger top 10 minus 175. DraftKings top 10 Allmendinger minus 125.
All right, so AJ Allmendinger.
That's a good number.
So you said top 10 is minus 125?
Yeah, on DK.
Okay. And then to top 3 is 6 to 1. So if you're hearing at home, I have all. I'm not going to pick him to win because I'm an idiot. He'll actually win, but Allmendinger top 3 6 to 1, top 5 plus 275, and top 10 minus 125. Plus Allmendinger 4.5 spots versus Elliott and over Chase Briscoe. So Allmendinger is definitely crashing on like the first lap.
Or the colleague mishaps are going to continue and his engine's going to blow.
No,
Or
Justin
something.
Haley is the one who crashes, obviously. So I'm going to be fine. Okay. I'm happy. I added to my betting card. Anything else you want to look at, Brian?
Well, like I said, I wish there was a little more driver matchups on DK. We'll probably get those a little bit more tomorrow. I'm pretty set on my card this week. I don't think I'll be adding any more last minute.
If you want to look for a little double up parlay, avoid Mercedes. They look like trash over on F1. Sergio Perez qualified on the pole, looked great. Leclerc at plus 145 could be an easy add, and Verstappen at plus 270. The Red Bull cars look good. getting Verstappen at like almost 3-1. Him and like Larson or Elliott could be a nice little double up if you want to do that. Let me just put this together and see what we got over here, because I think this is gonna be my thing every week. I'm gonna go with the NASCAR. Let's see, view picks. 1565. So if I put $5 on it, wins $83. I'm gonna go with the Verstappen Larson double up, plus 1565.
That's pretty good. That's a good number.
That is, it's probably not gonna hit all year long, but
But when it does, if it does,
if it does, I'll be really happy. Let's see, 1565. I'll just put a quarter unit on there because for funsies. Okay, so let's throw up the card and see where we're at, and then we'll get a best bet, and then we'll get out of here. I appreciate everybody who's made it this far. I know my voice sounds really terrible, but I'm trying to make it through for y'all, trying to give you guys the picks. If you are still here and you're enjoying what we're doing, make sure you smash that thumbs up. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you tell your friends. Tell your friends to tell their friends. Share the show around. Do all the good stuff. It really does do a lot. We appreciate all the extra attention we've been getting. Our subscribers are going up. Our likes are going up. Let us know down in the comments your winner for this week's race. But without further ado, Austin Cindric at 16-1, Ross Chastain at 40-1, Larson over Elliott minus 105, Keselowski over Dillon, the show bet, Tyler Reddick top 10, Christopher Bell top 10, Chastain top 5, the Allmendinger extravaganza top 3, top 5, top 10 over Briscoe, 4.5 over Elliott, Cole Custer top 10, and the Larson Verstappen double up. Brian Twining, what's on your card?
all right. So let's start from the top with what we added at the beginning of the week. We got Reddick outright, Briscoe outright, Christopher Bell outright, Chastain outright. Then we got Tyler Reddick top 10, which was my best bet on Wednesday's show. Ross Chastain top 10, Ryan Blaney top 5 at 2-1. Early in the week is looking brilliant at the moment, qualifying on pole. The show bet, Austin Dillon over Brad, piece of crap, Keselowski. And then Kurt Busch top 10 at plus 130. Cole Custer top 10. One of my arch nemesis, Joey Logano top 5. So if you could bet him to not finish the race, that's probably a good wager. Logano outright at 18-1, and then I too am riding the Allmendinger train at plus 4.5 spots versus Chase Elliott.
And with that being said, what is your best bet for the Echopark Grand Prix at the Circuits of Americas in Austin, Texas?
Well, I'm going with my favorite racing team in the Cup Series, and that's 23-11. Kurt Busch to top 10 at FanDuel right now, plus 130. We're going to add this, and we're going to go a full 3 units on this.
Whoa! Now we're cooking with gas.
The old man Kurt Busch is going to sneak inside that top 10.
Love to see it. I love it. I might have to add that. No, I'm not going to add that to the card. So as I mentioned, Chastain top 5, 3-1 was my best bet from the betting preview show on Wednesday. This is too good of a number. I'm going to. I know I'm all over Ding of the Ringer, but minus 125 to top 10. You got to make room for Busch and Dinger in there. Minus 125 to top 10 is a good number. So 3 units. I'll join you. And we'll hopefully cash some wagers, cash over on DraftKings, and have a hell of a race weekend. That's Brian Twining. I'm Kyle Robert. We'll talk to you guys next time. Hopefully my voice sounds better then.